I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Heavenly Father, we come to you this beautiful fall day to ask a blessing on this assembled group of people. We ask that you would continue to bless us with the things we need to know and do to make things good for our city. We are very privileged to be here in this lovely town. We thank you for the moisture that we've been receiving. And we ask that you continue to watch over us as we do what we think is right and know is right. We say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Chuck. If anyone else has a statement of belief or a different opening prayer they'd like to bring forward, then now is the time. If not, we're going to move on. We have the approval of agenda.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Disclosure and declarations of conflict from city councilors and the mayor. Anyone have any for tonight?
I have none.
All right, we're going to move on. Consent agenda, review and possible approval for meeting minutes from November 15th, 2023, special city council meeting, and November 15th, 2023, city council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
One thing, Mayor. We got the two, but we didn't get the third one for the after closed session meeting.
We don't have meeting minutes for closed session.
No, I know, but
Oh.
don't we, just like we're doing the special or no?
Special is different than closed.
Okay, so
So, yep,
nothing.
nothing for
Okay.
that.
Disregard.
Oh, you're good. That's good questions. Okay, any other discussion on this item? I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're going to go to our department reports. We'll start off with the bearded Matt, the big bearded Matt in the back from Ash Creek. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, need a mic. We need to hear you.
Dang it. I was hoping to get away from that. Not a lot to report, just still moving forward on the Confluence Park Treatment Plant. We have awarded the bid for a little over 38 million. So, yeah.
That's the
ouch.
maximum though, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's the
not to
maximum bid, so
exceed,
it won't
yeah.
be over that. I mean, it's a little over that, but what the price came back was, it won't be over that maximum bid.
Right.
Is what it is. So they should start moving dirt in the first part of the year. We are starting to get submittals in, reviewing equipment, stuff like that. Some of those long lead time items we're starting to review. So yeah, we're moving forward, and it's about a 2-year build.
So we'll be open in end of 2025. Is that what we're thinking? Somewhere in there, or
Yeah, end of 2025, first of
versus 26?
26.
Okay.
Something like that.
So if you those of you don't know, we're building a sewer treatment plant in Confluence Park. So it's going to service Tokerville and Overton. Some of North Hurricane too is going to flow back.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and they're starting out with a 1.5 million gallons per day capability, with the option to double that without spending another 38 million. So it'd be a lot cheaper to double it in size. So they're putting in the infrastructure to make it bigger the first time around. So the nice thing is the water comes out so clean that we can put it right back into the river, but we're going to put it right back into our new reservoir, and we're going to use it for irrigation water. So it's really a good system. So that's why it costs so much.
Right. And we're still working with the state on putting it into the reservoir.
Right. It's going to take time. We got a couple of
But,
years to get it figured out.
Yeah. Until then, if we get it done before we get the approval to put in the reservoir, we'll be putting it in Confluence Park,
Yeah.
watering the vegetation, whatnot.
Which we'll
throughout
still
the
do some
park.
of that anyways. We got to keep it green down there.
Right.
So.
For sure.
So yeah, there's a lot going on. It's a really neat plant. The design, if you haven't seen the open house on that you can get on the Ash Creek website and look at the drawings. It's really good looking. You'll never be able to see it.
So is it designed to go ahead and provide service to companies that might want to come in that needs cooling water?
I don't know anything about that. No, I don't think so.
Not at this point. No.
Yeah. So, all right. Anything else, Matt?
I think that's all.
Okay.
With that, I'm going to excuse myself this evening.
No, if you need to go, go. I don't see anyone here from the fire district. So I was at the fire district. Todd was there the other night. We had a meeting Monday night. Things are progressing. They've done a really good job trimming their budget down. I remember a year ago, they were trying to do a 90% tax increase that was shot down. So they've actually trimmed their budget way down, and they're doing very, very well, very fiscally responsible. So things are looking better at the fire district. We still have some issues we got to work out there, but we're working on those the first of the year. Mr. Riker, what we got from planning and zoning?
Just a couple updates on some things that we're working on. We're working on criminalizing the code. We've been going through that, and we've identified the areas that may need to be revised or amended in order to allow for us to enforce those. And we're currently working on drafts for that. The landscape ordinance is currently being reviewed, and a red line draft of that ordinance has been posted and will be on for Planning Commission for public hearing. With the general plan, an updated draft of the general plan is also going to be on the next Planning Commission meeting for public hearing. And that includes the comments that were discussed in previous meetings, as well as some direction given from council. The nightly rental ordinance is going to be coming back before you. We have a draft of that that's currently being reviewed to address some of the issues that we identified in some previous meetings. And then in addition to that, we're working on preliminary and final site plan ordinances, preliminary and final plat ordinances, ordinances addressing parks, parking, lot splits, accessory dwelling units, updating our sign ordinance, the extraction industries overlay zone, our fencing ordinance, and also revising our definition section to include a tavern definition.
Okay, you're busy.
We're doing a few things.
Yeah, just a few things. Let's do that by noon. What do you do the rest of the day?
Yep.
Okay, Darren, do you have anything to add to that?
I do not.
Perfect. Afton, we're going to turn some time over to you.
All right. The report for the cities, the financial report, Keddington and Christensen will be here to present the findings for the audit findings. They'll be at the next city council meeting to present that to you. So you'll have a draft of that prior to it. At this time, 50% of the year has elapsed. We've spent 44% of the budget. So we're on track there. We're meeting with Hinton Burdick regularly, reconciling all of that. We're still waiting to hear back on our water infrastructure grant in the amount of $4.5 million. That's to construct a 2 million gallon water tank out on the west side and the associated pump house. We should hear back on that later this month. Westfield Park update, the fencing is up. The restroom design has been put out to bid. It will be in Sunday's paper. And so we'd encourage people to put in a bid for that. We'll open it 1 week later. On the Parkway, Phase B is under construction. Obviously, we're still addressing the dust, the rocks, roadway traffic down by TRE, the speeds by TRE and Choya. They wanted us just to announce that, yes, there was a water line break. People had questions about that. They fixed it very quickly. They were on top of that. So Settlers Junction is pushing for a December opening. That's on tonight's agenda, so you'll see that. They're looking to move forward on that. Firelight has moved forward with site work for the water tank that is out west. That you can see that as you drive up toward Anderson Junction. You can see where they've got that excavation working. As Riker mentioned, we're still working with the city attorney and working with the prosecution for criminalizing the code. We want to make sure that everybody's aware of the community readiness meeting, the event that's coming up. We're going to go through that, but that will be on December 14th. Correct, Benson? December 14th, 7 p.m., City Hall. And then we wanted to thank everybody who participated in the Christmas tree lighting. That was a big success. We had a lot of people here. Town Hall was packed. It was really fun. So great job to Rachel Peart. She put on that event, had lots of local talent, and it was well attended, and it was good. So, and then economic growth, Riker reported on the general plan, where we are with that. Civic Plus, Sarah Peart's still working on with the web designers for our website on the content from there. We thought we had it finalized, and then it came back and it had some things that were worse than what we had asked them to fix. So they're meeting back and forth on that. We wanted to just announce that we have applied for a technical planning assistance grant. That is for $80,000, and we're turning that in tomorrow. That is so that we can update our master transportation plan for the city. That plan is really lacking. It didn't have anything for the west side of the freeway, so that's where we are on that. At the next meeting, Sunrise Engineering will be here. We've been working with the Culinary Water Master Plan update. They'll be here to present that. And I attended DTAC today. 2 points that they hit pretty hard. One was the Utah Trails Network. We're looking at some paved trails, seeing how we could have that in Tokerville so that we could have some connectivity. So we're looking at that. And then they also discussed the Northern Corridor, and the MPO is in favor of the Northern Corridor. They said that it would, I was writing it down as they were talking, they said that by 2050, that if they complete the Northern Corridor, that by 2050, over 300,000 traffic delay hours could be mitigated. So that was kind of their need for it. They said it affects 70 intersections regionally. So they were for it. Conserve Southwest has come out really strong in opposition to that. So BLM is entering a scoping period. They had the in-person meeting today, and they're going to be doing some public hearing and some public outreach. So the MPO feels strongly that the Northern Corridor is needed. Conserve Southwest Utah obviously feels the opposite. They're an environmental group here locally. And then I also had the opportunity to attend the Water Conservancy District meeting with the mayor. We attended that. We actually took a vote at the district. There's the board, and then there is the AAC, which is made up of mayors and city managers. And we voted in favor to recommend that Virgin be considered to join the regional water supply agreement. Hurricane City suggested that it would be on the condition that they join Ash Creek Special Service District prior to joining the water district. So that's the recommendation that went to the board, that Virgin be considered. So that's what I have for an update.
Okay, well, thank you. Back to the Christmas tree lighting. If you missed it, you missed a good time. It was really well attended, and it was great. So I wished you were all there. Gary, do you have a good time there?
I had a great time.
That was awesome. I thought it was very
I was
well
surprised
attended.
at the number of people that were there.
Plus, I know we have talent in town, but it was
We
really
had some
good
great talent. We had
was
some great
great.
talent.
So
The mayor didn't sing, and
I
that
did
was
not.
perfect.
I did not. That was the best part of the night.
I do have a question, Afton.
Or just say that. Go
Could you
ahead.
just tell us what's going on with the Christmas decoration?
With the map?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if between now and December 10th, if you want to be on the map, we have a QR code. And so if you just submit, it's really simple. It has your name and it has your address, and then we'll automatically add you to the map. So people can scan that, and then they can see the map, so they can drive around and look at all of the Christmas lights that are in town of people who want to be on that map.
Good job on decorations.
Thank you.
Get listed, okay? And that way someone will drive by and appreciate your work.
Yes.
Perfect. Attorney Snow, do you have anything for us this evening?
Yeah, just a few things. Our office has been working on several different agreements between the city and various parties, one of which we're going to have here tonight, this memorandum of understanding for Settlers Junction. We've also been working with property owners along the Southern Parkway with regards to drainage.
We can't hear.
You can't hear me? Okay, we'll turn it right here. We'll speak real close to it. We've also been working with property owners adjacent to the Tokerville Parkway on drainage issues. We've been reviewing the latest revisions to the general plan and are prepared to make some comments there. And then I met personally with General Counsel for the Conservancy District and went through the latest draft of the second amended and restated regional water supply agreement, the pooling agreement, which is getting closer, and discussed certain points, certain issues that some member municipalities are having with it. It's kind of interesting trying to keep a lot of people satisfied, but I think that the district's done well. Between Zach and Jody Richin, the general counsel, I think they've accomplished most of it. So it should be coming before the advisory committee here within the next month or two, with the holiday probably January. And then we will likely be seeing a draft for approval and consent in February or March. Is kind of the timeline. That's all.
Thank you. All right, we're now going to move into our public forum portion of the evening. If you have something you want to bring up before the city council, come up and state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
It wouldn't be a meeting without me filling it. Thank you and Merry Christmas to all of you. A couple questions and then you can start playing. Sorry, Dean Haymore, 2180 South Sunshine Lane. Out there on the construction and everything right here in the corner, I see a new speed bump on Shangri-La, and I take it that's construction water, sharing water, and things like that. But one of the questions I have on this, when it's all finished, are we gonna have some overhead lights? Because that is very dangerous. My granddaughter comes home at 11:30 every night from work, and you can't see anything. And with all of that new traffic that's gonna come through there or add to, is anything being lit up where it comes through and comes onto the existing road or at Shangri-La, where we have to dart across there and try to miss the traffic both ways? I don't know if that was ever thought about or ever designed in, or if it should be talking to the state highway about illumination there.
So the first item is the water that's going across the speed. It is temporary. When they broke the water line, when the water line broke, that is serving those residents that are right there on the bottom. So it will go away as soon as that water line's completed. The lighting has to do more with the state at this point, and I'll get with Darren and we'll go look, because the intersections you're talking about are SR 17, which is owned by UDOT. So we'll go look at that. But I'm going to tell you from my memory, there's nothing designed there now, except the power is going underground. And so there could be a possibility of it, but we'd have to work through the state.
And it
So
takes a long time to get them to do anything.
It takes a long time for anything. So yeah, we'll start that. We'll have a conversation with them.
But that's very necessary, not only just there at Shangri-La.
Yeah, it's going to be Shangri-La and that new turn coming into town. Both of those are going to need something. Yeah.
Yeah, I have almost weekly communication with UDOT, and so
Okay,
We'll talk about that.
One other reminder, when they put that new water line down to Shangri-La, and then I talked to you, they took out my property line marker right in the middle of the street.
Dean, that's on me. I forgot that.
and it's
Thank you. We need to get that put back in. Darren, that's on. I totally spaced that. Thank you.
I wonder if property line put that in. Thank you.
Thanks, Dean.
Kathy Benz, 370 West Shangri-La, and I am just standing up again to ask that you give us this public forum for every meeting. And I feel like it's really important, because if we don't have an opportunity to speak, we feel like we're kind of shut out. And our only chance is if we personally have a conversation with any of you, and then no one else knows about our conversation. I talked to Afton. Nobody knows about that conversation. So I think this is our only opportunity to share with the community concerns that we have. So I would ask that you reinstate this for all our meetings. And generally, I don't think it takes that much time. So thank you.
And don't forget, you can email us, and we do read our emails, and it is on record that way too. If you
It's
send
on
us
record
some
where?
email, because we save them, and they're subject to grandma.
But are they publicized?
No, I know what you're talking about for public, but I'm saying that you said you talked to your councilman or council members, and no one knows what you're talking about. But it is memorialized here, and that, we can bring it up in a meeting or something like that. So another way of communication.
Anybody have anything else?
Yes, my name is Ray Nance at 370 West Shangri-La, and I'd like to point out, we do have that preparedness meeting on the 14th, that readiness meeting. I would like to encourage everyone to come. We've had some good turnout, and we'll be discussing sanitation at this next meeting. And then the following meeting in January will be lights, cooking, and heating. And they promise to be good meetings. And so I want to thank the city for making the town hall available to us. I have a concern about the water that we've talked about in the past. I understand that we're looking at putting a solar project and it's tied up with engineering, and I don't know what the hang-up is, but that's one thing our community desperately needs in case of an emergency, is an ability to get water. I'd also like to echo what my wife Kathy Beth said about the 3 minutes at every meeting. I know St. George and some cities, they do it every other month, but we're not that big and we don't take that much time. And we feel that it helps us, the residents feel like they're being represented. And we are trying to encourage more and more people to get involved in city government. And so I would think that you could make that concession of giving us a little time so that our voice can be heard. And I appreciate what Todd said, but again, I just think it gives us an opportunity. So I would ask you to please reconsider the council and thank you.
County Bonnie, 1110 South Georgia. And I just am here also to go along with what Kathy and Ray have said. I really feel it would be important to keep that time that we can have this to be able to talk to, even if it's just for 3 minutes when we get up here. But if you have it where we can make comments at every meeting when you have your city council, because if we have to wait, sometimes I forget, I'll be honest, and think, oh, well, I already missed the meeting that I could come and make a comment. So it would be nice to be able to have that opportunity to voice our concerns or to give praise for what's going on. I missed the meeting, so I hear it was wonderful. But again, I just feel like it would be really important, along with, we are a small town, so we want to be here and be able to express our concerns. Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to our business items for the evening. We'll start off with item F1, discuss possible appointment of 2 planning commissioners to serve 4-year terms.
So Mayor, on this one, yeah, there are 2 planning commissioners seats that have expired. They have a term expiration date of December 31st, 2023. The seats are currently appointed to Sean Huntsman and Stacy Eaton. So the new term dates are January 24th to December of 2027. We had 3 people who put in from the community that would like to be considered for those positions. I think you received those in email. We had Dean Haymore, Angela Harrison, and Ty Perkins that submitted. I think you've had an opportunity to review those. We also had Jenny, those are from the community. Then we have 2 alternates that are on Planning Commission. And one of those is Jenny Chamberlain and the other is Andrea Allred. And both of them have expressed interest in filling those 4-year positions.
On Stacy Eaton also.
And Stacy Eaton
Stacy
wants to be in.
Right.
Sean Huntsman, I had the opportunity to visit with him. I know you did too. And he is not wanting to continue as either the chairman or on the commission. And so that leaves 2. So we have to fill Sean Huntsman's and we have to fill Wayne Olson's because he's moving to council.
Yep.
So.
So is Wayne,
And we
was
still have
his,
to fill 3 because Stacy would have to be reappointed because his is.
Well,
expiring.
Stacy, yes, but Stacy put in for his.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
So Wayne had how long left on his? He had 1 year left?
Yeah.
Okay, so would it be replacing a 1-year person?
So if Stacy goes back in his own, you
Right.
would need to be replacing Sean Huntsman for a 4-year
4-year.
term. And then you would need to replace Wayne Olson
Wayne
for the
Olson for
remainder of his
his
term because he's
term.
moving to council.
Right, okay. All right.
Mayor, that's a nice change to have that many applicants.
It really is.
Is there 3 or is there more than that?
So besides the,
There
So
are
we
5.
have,
There are 5. There are
We've
the
got
3
5.
3 from the community and both alternates.
right,
we have the 2 alternates.
Yep.
And who are the 3 from the
Dean
community?
Haymore, Angela Harrison, and Tylee Perkins.
Was Glenn Levitt.
Nope, Glenn didn't.
Nope.
He said he was going to, but I didn't see an email from him. So I talked to him personally, but I didn't see an
Right.
email. So
What is his name? I just want to.
Glenn Levitt.
Glenn Levitt.
I don't think so, but I just want to double check that I don't have anything in mind. I think so.
He said he was going to try to be here tonight. He thought maybe
Hmm.
if he was here, he would.
Okay.
So, all right.
Okay, so yeah, it's nice having not to have to track people down and twist their arm to serve on this committee. This is great. So Stacy, I think Stacy does a great job. I would like to leave him in his position. He wants to continue that. He has a lot of great knowledge and from the city, so that's my first choice. Jenny Chamberlain, she's been on for about a year now when I first got as mayor. Yeah, I asked you to serve on the planning and zoning as an alternate, so she's a natural for me to move up. And then we've got one to fill, and then we have two alternates to a base. Well, we have Andrea Allred also. So my opinion is my choice. So this is what I'm thinking. I'd love to have Jenny come up, keep Stacy where he is, and I'd like to see Angela Harrison move on to the Planning and Zoning Committee now. Leave Andrea as an alternate for now, and then we need to pick another alternate. And I would like to have Ty Perkins as the other alternate for now. So those are my choices. You guys need to discuss those. And
Yeah, our ordinance indicates that it's appointed by the mayor with the consent of council.
yeah.
So he's put forward who he'd like, but I want to make sure that I understand. We've got two-year terms, and even though
Two 4-year.
terms.
4-year terms, excuse me,
Year and
1 year.
1 year left on Wayne Olson.
So Mayor, for clarification, so you'd be appointing Stacy Eaton to a 4-year term
Jenny to a
and Jenny
4-year.
Chamberlain to a 4-year term.
Yep.
Who would you be appointing to the 1-year term?
Angela Harrison.
To the 1 year.
Yep.
And then
And then Ty Perkins.
Alternate.
Anyone else as an alternate?
Andrea Allred will stay as an alternate.
Okay.
I read a letter from Dean Haymore, and I think amongst all of these candidates or applicants, I think he has probably the most experience, and his learning curve for the planning commission would be much, much shorter than any of the other applicants based upon his 50 years of experience in this type of an industry. I know the planning commission has even asked him for advice or his comments based upon his background, and I read a letter from him today, which was, pretty impressive.
Yep.
So I think Dean needs to be part of this.
Okay.
Would you like to see Dean go in the 1-year position
Or
as
an
an alternate?
alternate, or where would you like to see Dean?
With
go?
his experience, I would like to see it be Dean and Stacy.
Okay.
There's actually Stacy, and then there's two other ones, a 4-year and then a 1-year.
In a 1 year.
Oh, okay. I think I'm open for the others, but I just think that Dean is qualified to be on the planning commission with his experience, unless you guys find somebody that you feel has more experience than Dean. It's not a matter of whether, I know that I've had differences of opinion with Dean, but he knows code.
Yep.
And their job is to just make a decision based upon code, not based upon their opinion. And so knowing that, with that in mind, and his experience and knowledge of code, it takes a long time. I mean, Ty's been on the planning commission, Joey's been on the planning commission. It takes a long time to understand the code and what they need to do. And I think he'd be one up on it and even be able to help the others grow in the planning commission. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I agree with Gary. I know that Dean tries to attend as many meetings as he can, whether it's city council or it's planning commission. So I think he is well versed on things that are been happening both on the council and on the planning commission. And I second what Gary says. I do respect the mayor's decisions, but I would urge you to maybe reconsider and put Dean on the planning commission, whether it's the 1 year for Wayne or if it's one of the 4-year positions with Stacy.
So the way that we'd go about doing this, if the mayor wants to reconsider and change his recommendation or request, he can do so. And then one of you need to make a motion to consent and approve his appointments and vote on it.
Any other discussions? You guys?
I agree with these two.
Okay.
I think Dean's a great fit.
Same here. I think Dean should move up.
And you're not saying nothing because you're leaving.
I don't know if that's true.
What's that?
That's true.
Oh,
Just listening.
okay. Yeah, I think Dean's got a tremendous amount of knowledge. I really do. He's great. My concern is I love Dean. Don't get me wrong, Dean, but I'm worried to be a little bit brusque at times, and I'm just wanting to make sure the Planning and Zoning Committee enjoys their meetings. So I just want to make sure we're not in here butting heads too much, and that's my only concern. The knowledge you have is there is a lot of knowledge. So, and I can actually change my opinion, no problem. So let's try this. Let's do Stacy stays where he's at. Jenny Chamberlain moves up to a 4-year. We put Dean in as a 1-year and leave Andrea where she's at and move Angela Harrison as an alternate. And if Dean works great for a year, we put him in for a 4-year spot. So you guys are good with so
I'm good with that, Gary.
okay,
I'll make motion to approve the mayor's
Appointments.
appointments.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Congratulations, everybody. Hope you know what you're in for. All right.
A thankless job.
F2, discuss a possible
So-
appointment. Oh, sorry.
So that motion just took
Oh,
items
yep.
1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
2 and 3. Perfect. Look at that. We
Yeah.
did all 3 at once. Man, you guys are amazing. All right, we're going to skip all the way down to 4. Discuss and possible action on resolution 2023, City Council and Planning Commissioner annual meeting schedule.
So Mayor, this resolution amends the 2023 annual meeting schedule for City Council and Planning Commission, just creating the 2024. We do this every year, the annual meeting schedule, the dates are updated. There's a council meeting that we need to discuss. It falls on the state holiday, the June 19th. So we need to know if the council would like to reschedule that meeting or if they would like to cancel that.
I think they should hold it.
Well, we have, yeah. So what other, if you want to hold it, we need to hold it on a different day. So would you like to, when would you like to do it?
Middle of June. Do we have a bunch of
You can do it the day after, like
yeah, I
Thursday?
just wondered middle of June. We have all the budget stuff we're trying to get done, or do we need another meeting in June?
Well,
or
the
is
problem
this something-
with doing only one meeting is June is it would be on June 5th and then the
Right.
meeting that's on July 4th. It's actually on July 3rd this year, but that meeting is typically canceled because we don't have a quorum, which means that you wouldn't have a council meeting from the
Yeah.
1st of June all the way until
end of July.
July. So you probably should.
Yeah.
I would say that you should have a council meeting, but maybe just
Summer break,
the next day.
and we can't have it on Juneteenth.
Right.
We just not.
It's-
That's the
yeah,
holiday,
That's the
right?
state's
Yeah, okay.
deal. That's not us.
All right. So guys, what day do you want to do it? The day before or the day after?
Thursday.
Tuesday and Thursday. We got one of each here.
Suggest, because planning commission is in between there, that if it could be on Thursday, that would probably be better than being on Tuesday,
Okay.
just because of getting the information and the packets turned
Something needs
around
to
to
be-
council.
Okay.
Okay.
So
20th of June. We good with that, guys? So we need to amend that. Planning and zoning calendar is good for everybody.
Yeah.
You don't have any holidays there, have to dodge.
good. The only one is the Juneteenth that would vary at this point.
Okay, I think let's just change that to June 20. And so I need a motion.
Mayor, what day is Valentine's?
14th.
You may want to talk about planning commission not
Oh,
holding that
yeah,
on
February
Valentine's for
14th.
them. Maybe move that
Yeah,
one as well.
move that one to the 13th or 15th.
For planning commission,
Yeah.
the day after, same
Day
thing,
after.
day after.
Any
So the
feedback from
15th.
planning commissioners? We've got a couple.
I want to move that one the day before, so if you do have to post something to the city council, you give you another day because you're cutting it. You're
Actually,
cutting it posting.
Oh,
it, so
yeah.
I actually like that idea.
Yeah.
That way
we
you're
could do
the
that
10
one. Do
days.
that
There's a
one
bigger
before.
gap between.
Or there you
Cutting
go,
a day for posting
12th.
notification.
day before.
The 13th, sorry.
13th.
I'm trying 2 days here. Okay. Any other holidays we're forgetting about? Corporate holidays? Okay, all right. I need a motion to change those and approve it for the next year.
So moved with the changes that have been mentioned.
I
Have a motion and a second. Any more discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're on to item F5, discuss and possible action on memorandum of understanding for Settlers Junction's RV park.
So Mayor, this has been on the agenda. It was
Yep.
tabled last time. I think everyone's had a chance to see the updates on those. One of the major things that we were talking about was the ownership of the 8-inch water line. That was determined in this draft days. I don't know if you, well, it's all right. It's fine. But there's an 8-inch water line that runs through that property. And what we settled on was that the city will continue to have that line. That will be our line. And that was due to, if there's something that happens with it, that's part of our water system. So just for contamination. So the city will do that. But the compromise, we met with Attorney Snow and Lance Chernos, who's here, that if anything happens to any of their hardscape or anything like that, the city is not responsible for that. We'll repair our water line. We'll take care of our water system, but we won't do that. Another thing we had discussed on there was just his impact fees, that he's paying impact fees we raised them in the middle of that. So he's paying the original impact fees, which he's already done. So we had that on there. And then they updated the utility easement, just the description for that. And I think pretty much everything else was settled. And so what they're asking for, we were, obviously, if the memorandum of understanding is approved tonight, they're asking for an open date to be approved for a start date of tomorrow, which would be the 7th, if it goes through today. He had a punch list to create with UDOT. We heard back from, well, with everybody, but he completed those items. We heard back from UDOT that they're good for them to have a soft opening.
Just so you know, I met with
Darren,
Matt Rhodes from UDOT this morning. Yeah, he was good for having the soft opening happening tomorrow. There are a couple of small items that he needs addressed, and just said, hey, could you, if there was a motion, that it would include that in a couple of weeks they get those real small items addressed with UDOT.
Okay.
Other than that, there was the one thing that
On the bond.
on the
Yeah, when
That was
they
gonna be the next
bonded,
thing
they
I was gonna
posted a
talk
bond
about.
for 125% of the estimated cost of construction. Well, construction's now basically complete, and they're
little
believing
less.
that the cost came in less. And so the question was 25. They have to the city retains 25% as a warranty bond for a 1-year period. And I just clarified in there that it would be 25% of the actual cost as determined and approved by staff, because they're trying to get the finalized information. And if it costs less, then it's 25% of whatever it costs, and we release the rest of it back to the property owner.
Okay.
There's one other
Reasonable.
real small item that was just the completion of the clubhouse and the amenities there. You got the wrong date on it. It should be February 25th of 2025.
Oh.
Or the top of page 4.
That was discussed at the last meeting, that he would
It
have
was,
that
yeah.
time to complete
Okay.
that. So it's just be updated from 2024 to 2025. But that's,
So is that significant enough, the fact that the recreation center and the pool and the other amenities aren't going to be completed? Does that justify giving them a refund on this bond if they've still got a ways to go with construction?
So the bond is for the road, for the
Yeah.
new road. It's
Yeah,
not,
the
it's
bond
not
wasn't
his.
for
It's not for the
it's
private
not related to
improvements,
that.
it's for the public
Yeah,
improvements.
we don't make people bond for the improvements on their private property.
That construction's just about done.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
is.
is. It is
It
done.
is done.
And the punch list on all of the utility members, everybody has signed off on the sheet that they're good, with the exception of UDOT. But UDOT just said, hey, we are good. Everything is substantially complete. They were good with it verbally. They are good with a soft opening tomorrow. And other than just maybe putting something in there that says that
Verbal agreement from UDOT. When does the written agreement come in from UDOT?
they just asked. They just
No,
asked.
they just asked that you put it into, there isn't going to be one. They
There's
just
not.
asked, they just said, hey, we've got a couple of items that we need Settlers Junction to do. If they do make a motion to approve the MOU, would you just include that he will within the next
2
few
weeks.
weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? They he will complete the rest of the punch list.
So do those two items need to be included in the motion?
need to
that's
know
made
what they
tonight?
are.
It's in the motion, not in the MOU, because it's
Correct.
not
Okay.
us.
What are the items? Do we need to specifically
Just that
spell them out?
UDOT's punch
There's
list.
two
He
items.
knows what they
It's
are.
UDOT's punch list.
Okay, that's
Um,
fine.
And he'll get a
Okay.
copy of that tomorrow.
Yeah, I just want to wonder how specific we have to be in the motion, so.
It's
Just that he'll complete
it's-
UDOT's punch
really,
list
it's
within
really
the coming
simple things
weeks.
such as a sign,
Okay.
base, the bar
Right.
ditch.
So I, just thought maybe 21 days from today, he can finish on
The two punch list
the two
items.
punch list item for the state and then a soft open for tomorrow. Good to me, but you guys just got to
I have a
make a
question
motion.
on the timelines for the deferrals. So,
Yeah,
and I want to make sure that the applicant is comfortable. It's 180 days to do your amenities, but then it's a little bit over a year for the
Admin
registration building. I thought that was backwards last time. Wasn't the registration building going first and then the amenities were 1 year?
They'll be the same time.
So on this, you have 180 days to do the amenities from tomorrow. And you're comfortable with that?
We expect in 6 months to be done with the whole package. Now, they're giving us a little more time in case delays, but we wouldn't open the pool any sooner than 6 months anyway.
Yeah. I just want to make sure you're comfortable with the, because it basically gives you a deadline, 180 days for your pool and your amenities, and a year for your building.
I thought there was
Unless I'm
something
reading.
that if we needed for an extension for 30 days, we could ask for it.
I didn't see that.
No.
With the motion, it's important. I'll make sure the pool gets done if we need to. We're getting calls daily to camp there and we're kicking out people that think they can camp there overnight. So we need to start staffing it and opening it is really important. And, the details of when the pool gets done, if we can add a small line item that I can have up to 60 days of extension on the pool if I need it. If we can add that to the motion, and then have the MOU, but if the council isn't comfortable, then I'll commit to the date because we need to get this thing open tomorrow.
So if you're going to be doing the amenities and the admin building at the same time, we could eliminate on paragraph 5, the sentence towards the end that starts with notwithstanding. You can eliminate that, and we could just say within how many days of the completion and the opening. And if we want to say 180 days, which is 6 months, or if it's a year, if that's what the understanding is, then we need to put 1 year instead of 180 days. And then he needs to have both of them, the admin
Everything
building and the
complete.
amenities done within 1 year.
So then we wouldn't need the February 25th,
Yeah.
2024, 2025.
Nope.
Grace period, because 180 days is not very much.
Yeah.
Especially during the
Something like a
winter.
pump or something gets
Yeah.
electrical
I see him
panels.
come back for an extension.
He'll be motivated by market circumstances. He'll have a lot more renters when he has amenities there for the renters to use. So it'll motivate him.
We should just change that sentence to basically say 1 year from.
Okay. So just delete everything from,
180 days and just. You can use February 25.
Right.
25 if you want.
Yeah, if you just leave it.
Yeah.
okay.
And then I saw one other. So for the second whereas, right when you
Okay.
started the first red line, it says a culinary water system at let's see, I don't know if that reads right. At an 8-inch water main location within.
Oh, comprised of. Yeah, I'd
No,
probably say
I think it reads okay if you read, if you follow along, because it says.
Culinary water system.
I sent both a clean version and a red line. We only
add
put a
an
red line
8-inch
in your
water-
packet.
okay,
Maybe.
within RV development, Period. And then in parentheses, settlers private water system, period.
Okay.
You gotta
Yeah.
work your way through it.
I missed the underline.
See, the system doesn't start there's this 8-inch water main that goes in there, and then the system doesn't start until after that, because right after that, you have these water meters with all the distribution lines, and only the meters and the distribution lines is their system. Ours is up to the end of the main.
I just jumped to located when I did that, and so I missed that.
It's
the
located
underlying
at,
portion was-
yeah.
Yeah, I had to read it a
Did
couple,
you
I had to
take-
read
yeah,
a
you
couple
did.
times too to figure out what he was saying.
That's why I send a clean and a red line. It's hard sometimes to read a red line. It does show you quickly what was changed, but
Aaron, while we're on the water line issue, I just want to make sure it's clear. We are keeping that easement so that we can maintain fire protection through the project.
Yes.
In there, it talks about one thing that would come up. So, well, I got two things. Typical construction of a new project, there's a 1-year warranty. So I want to make sure that if there's some damage during that time period, the city's not on the hook to fix it.
Yes.
Number two is that we specifically talked about hardscapes, but if we have a water line that breaks, we should be on the hook to put the asphalt back, the subgrade, and reconstruct where we damaged in the roadway. And I just feel like that eliminated it unless I didn't read it correctly.
That was for the private roadways. We're not going to
on
be.
the,
Yeah, on the
within,
private.
it's what I refer to as collateral damage within the RV development. So if it was in the road, 1700 North, then we pay to fix. If we have a water line break and it creates a sinkhole and we have to fix it and repave within 1700, the right of way of 1700 North, formerly known as Old Highway 91, realigned, then we pay for it.
But from 1700 North going south into the RV park, we are taking an easement to maintain the fire line protection.
Oh, yes.
That is correct.
Correct.
So my point is when it goes into the RV park and if it breaks inside there and we're taking care of it, we should not be excluded from maintaining or repairing the asphalt and the damage to the structure that can-
Still-
from the water
it's
line.
still a
What-
private
For
line.
ours,
We're
but
just
not
fixing it.
his. Yes,
We-
what you're saying, yes, we'll be responsible for our own, for going in and repairing that water line, but we will not be responsible for anything
Our
at
line.
Settlers
Our
Junction.
line.
Yes.
Our line.
But
As
not
long as
for
we're,
anything
I got it. As long as we're taking care of the break to the line we're
That was
putting in
your
the easement, then
understanding
we've
as
got.
well.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think you're referring to the actual road and asphalt.
Yes.
Because,
Inside your project.
that's a private road. So I would love to have, if something happens, the city fix the road and the asphalt, and then if my RV sites got destroyed, then I'll fix my RV sites.
That's what I'm
Right.
bringing up.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what and I don't know if it says that specifically.
That's not what it says. in
That's not the way
agreement.
it's written, though.
It's not the way it's written.
It's not.
It's written such that anywhere, if there's a break and
Anything.
it causes any damage to any portions of the RV development, so anything outside of the right of way of 1700 North, then we'll go in and fix it. We'll tear up asphalt if we need to, dig down, fix, and then refill. But he would have to fix the asphalt and any other damage that were done to RV pads. That's the way it's drafted.
It's a private water line. The city is able to go in and fix that line. but we're
Yeah.
not gonna fix
The lesson that we're learning is that we need to set these meters for a project like this right on the edge of the property so that we don't have to go on to their property and have this issue. That's
Not a private line. It's not.
It's a public line. That's why we
ownership.
have an easement. And so
Yeah,
all I'm,
so then we
It's
should
public
probably fix it.
utility.
I'm just saying, if we have property that damages somebody else's property, we need to be fixing it to the top. So.
I agree.
That was my understanding that we were gonna fix that, but we weren't going to do anything with RV sites or if it washes out a retaining wall or
If you
anything.
picture the building lot,
So
curve delineated the road from, somebody's private residence, that building, that curve is kind of where that line stops.
Yeah.
So we said,
and if you want to,
curve to curve is the asphalt, and anything outside the curve is RV sites. The way to delineate what you're speaking about, that might be an option to add there.
Was it?
Okay, let me read to you the clause that we're all struggling with and make sure. But it says, as such, the city shall have sole responsibility to maintain, repair, replace, or upgrade said 8-inch main, even when the main is located within the privately owned RV development, period, notwithstanding the city's obligation to maintain, repair, replace, and upgrade. In the event that a break or leak in said main occurs and the late leak or break causes collateral damage to improvements and landscaping within the RV development, the parties further expressly acknowledge and agree that Zion's RV shall be solely responsible to repair or replace said collateral damage at its own expense.
and that would include the asphalt.
Yeah,
Just like if you were in a parking lot, The city typically does not go back and fix the
Yeah,
parking lot.
I've done several of these, like, I did one recently when they built that Grease Monkey out in front of Costco down there in St. George, City of St. George. There is a sewer line that comes out of Costco, and these people wanted to connect into it. We had to do a joint agreement between both property owners, the Grease Monkey building and Costco, that said, we're maintaining, and the city required that when Costco built, we have to maintain, even though it is their public sewer line. If there's any damage to it, the city will come in and fix it, but they have to replace the asphalt. They have to do everything like that. And they acknowledge that's just the point of bringing it in that way.
So, and
Yes.
wasn't this agreed upon between the city and Lance prior to this coming to the council?
Yeah,
And now we want to change it? That doesn't make sense to me. If this was already agreed upon and
Well,
now it's being presented to
It
us.
wasn't agreed upon.
And agreed
Okay,
upon.
I'm sorry.
That's what you're doing right now is,
Well, no,
If-
Yeah.
But by
Well,
what staff and the city
It's been
attorney in
discussed, and
talking
we
with
had a meeting.
Lance,
Yes,
we thought we had a
definitely
meeting of the minds. Council who actually
well,
can
no, I understand
agree.
that part, but what I'm saying is, did not the city, the attorney and Lance agree
To
to this?
this.
And now it's why it's before us?
Yes.
Okay, that's what was my question. Okay. Thank you.
Well, it's cheaper for the city,
right.
the way it's written. So if you guys are comfortable with it, I
appreciate the comments.
Probably on the other
Councilman,
side of it, but-
You know, looking out for me as well, but this is what we agreed upon, and the way this water line transpired and got designed is another whole story, but it is what it is, and you guys.
And Ty, the likelihood of a break on that main's pretty minimal.
1 in 6.
You're more the expert on that than I am.
Yeah.
we fix water
6
leaks
of them.
all the time.
Other than adding the UDOT, provision for 21 days, we're good to go.
Yeah.
We've been working on this since June.
And I think Darren's definition, I think you talk about a parking lot and that shines a different light on it for me. So I don't know
Okay.
as though I'm too opposed to that.
Okay,
So I would suggest that this additional requirement just be outside. We make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding with the additional condition that he completes the 2 UDOT punch list items within 21 days of of tomorrow, because I don't think they can do anything tonight.
right.
And that's all the motion needs to be.
Changing the date to February.
Oh, yes, and changing the date and deleting.
The 180 days.
Yes, you're going to, let me get down to it. Delete. Where's my deferral section, right?
Top of page 4.
Yeah, okay. Yep, so where it says, gosh, why am I not? Top,
Make the motion?
yeah, go ahead.
Make it? I'll make a motion to approve the MOU for Settlers Junction on Beach Park with the corrections in paragraph 5 to remove the sentence with 180 days of the opening date, change the deadline to February 25th, 2025. Also like to add the UDOT punch list gets completed within the next 21 days. Got everything?
Good motion.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a pair of seconds. Daisy, which one do you want? Pick which one you want. All right, any further discussion on this?
I have a question though. Does that give him the opportunity to have his soft opening tomorrow?
It's
Oh,
in
yes.
there. It's
There, it's in there.
You
yeah.
did add that to
Yep.
it. Okay.
I-
When we went through this
Yeah, I plugged in
yesterday, it
December.
didn't say the
soft-
7th, so I wanted to make sure.
It
the
does say
date's
it now
there.
in the
Okay,
red. It
great.
says December 7th.
Okay.
No surprises. on
Well,
that.
Lance, we haven't voted yet, so don't get that smile off your face.
It's just a motion.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we're going to move on to item F6, discuss and ratification to approve the expenditure of $105,000 for the purchase of a back trailer for the Public Works Department. Phone call vote was taken on November 21st, and it was roll call vote was 5-0 approval.
Aaron, make motion to approve.
Second.
And this is a roll call vote. Chuck, will start on your side.
Yes.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. All right, we move on to item F7, discuss and possible action on closed session policy.
So, Mayor, this is one that we just asked for our recorder to put in place. So she drafted this. It matches state code, the reasons we can enter into a closed session. And then the main thing that we wanted was we were coming out of closed sessions and when you enter into one, we have the recorders and meetings that are closed are recorded. But we don't type out the meeting minutes or anything like that for those. But then we were not having a policy for what was happening with the recorders after. And so sometimes they were like on the counter, sometimes they were, and so we just put this into place where basically when you come into here, then when we enter the closed session, the mayor will have the recorders. He'll run them during the meeting, turn them off when they need to be turned off. And then the mayor will return those to the office of the recorder. So it won't be a council member, it won't be the city attorney. It'll go from the recorder to the mayor, from the mayor back to the recorder. And that you'll put them, either under a door or whatever, but you'll be responsible. So that's the main thing. The top part is for state code, talks about the way we notice. A special meeting needs 3 hours notice, and it should be delivered to a residence unless you appear in
Special meeting or
person.
a closed meeting? There's two separate.
There's special meeting and closed meeting. So this is our closed session policy. So we're talking specifically about the Open Public Meeting Act up here, and then the recording of the proceedings. That's how, if we enter into a closed meeting. So
So are you saying if we have a closed meeting, we need to have 2 members of the city council write this letter or write a written notice?
no, the recorder does all noticing for the city.
So, but.
This is saying so if the mayor, we can just read it out loud.
I've read it. But
Okay.
I'm just asking if we're in this meeting and there's nothing listed on our thing and we want to call a closed session during a meeting, an open meeting, is that
A closed session you can enter into during a meeting. It doesn't
During
have
an
to
open
be on the agenda. 2 members of council by making a motion and a second
we'll do
can
that.
enter into there, or the mayor can call.
But
a
if they
closed
want to
meeting.
call an executive meeting, not on one of our at one of our
Then
regularly
you have to
scheduled,
follow.
then you
Then
have to
yes,
call
But
it
if
as a
it's on a
special meeting for which an executive session occurs.
yeah. And it's
because-
governed by
Should
state
that be
code.
clarified in here,
Yeah.
just so that we're not.
This is just in front of you for feedback, discussion and
Well-
action. We just want to have something in place. We
This
just want a
says-
starting point.
The heading says closed session policy, and then we reference special meetings. So it doesn't say anything about closed after the heading.
You could
You can change the
you
name
could
to
change the
closed.
heading to special meetings for closed sessions.
Gotcha. So any special meeting outside of a regular scheduled meeting.
Right.
Still, this is still the same way you call a special meeting as well.
Same way regardless. But if you want to change the title of it, we can call it that. We can call
So the
closed
special
session for
meetings-
special.
Special meeting would be open to the public. We have
Special
those.
meetings are open to the public and typically when we call a special meeting, it is for a closed session. So meetings are open to the public, business is transacted into there, but the state of Utah has outlined specific circumstances where things are to be discussed in a closed session. And they're everything from pending litigation, character, all sorts of things, water rights, those are discussed in closed sessions. And so the state outlines what you call a closed session for. So a closed session can be called by 2 members of council or the mayor during this meeting, or they can be called on a non-regularly scheduled meeting time.
So if we call a closed session this evening, then it's just going to be the same. This policy.
Yes,
doesn't
you
change.
wouldn't be having
Yeah,
a
it doesn't
special meeting.
change at all.
That's why I say just change the heading to be special meetings for a
Closed session, yeah.
And then we can see what it's applying to.
That makes more sense.
Okay.
You good with that?
Are you good? So Afton, I just want to confirm what we've been doing for the past year. Have we been doing it correctly?
Yes. We've been doing it
And we're
correctly.
gonna
We just didn't have it written down. The main purpose of this policy was to discuss, we left a closed session late at night. And when I came in the next day, the recorders were still out. And it's for the recording devices. So the main reason for this policy, we had a staff meeting, Daisy and I talked about it, about what needs to happen because she typically doesn't attend the closed session. So what happens to the recorders when she leaves? That's how this policy came
Oh,
about.
yeah, absolutely.
So we've been doing it fine. I mean, we've been following state code, that we've been doing everything right. This just puts it in writing. And then it just says, it's the policy of Tokerville City that the mayor is going to handle the recorders and the mayor is going to return them to the recorder.
If he doesn't, who grounds the mayor?
The mayor pro tem.
The mayor pro
which is
tem
you,
does
Gary.
acts as
There you go.
Please.
So that's it. We just wanted to put something in place to say how we handle the recorders.
I just need to be trained, that's all. Get me the nose of the real old newspaper, that works. All right, I need a motion to carry on here.
Me.
Why?
Last one.
You can make two in a row. There's
Yeah.
nothing,
Yeah,
there's nothing
that's
in
not in the
Robert's rules
policy.
that prohibit that.
I move that we go ahead and approve item number F7, possible action on closed session policy.
Change the title.
And we change the title to special meetings.
For closed sessions.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. We are now into item F8, discussing possible action on nightly rental policy.
So we've heard the nightly rental, the words nightly rental. I don't even know how many times in the city in the last year, whether the ordinance or the policy. The nightly rental ordinance is coming back for review again. One of those things that we wanted to address, it's the application requirements, the review process, and the waiting list for the nightly rental. We put that nightly rental ordinance in place that went through Planning Commission and Council. And then what we were finding is that the length of time that the applicant had to get from Planning Commission to City Council wasn't long enough. If they didn't hit that very next one, they were running out of their 30 days so we want to change it from 30 days to 45 days. We want to put the policy in place so that we have a way to deal with the applications coming in the meantime. The ordinance is out for review, so it's going to come back through the process to update that. But yeah, so it's just intended to
Isn't, wouldn't
Match
it be better
Title
to, just to put the rest of this in Title 10?
No.
And especially the waiting list portion? Because how is the public going to know about the waiting list wait list time? And these, if it's not in an ordinance where they can access it?
through the application. That's where it addresses
No,
the
This
application
policy will be
requirements.
expressed in the application form.
When
So
they
the
come to pick
ordinance
up
will reference the policy. That way, if we find out that 45
So
days isn't long enough,
someone-
they need 60 days, we can modify the policy.
Without having to change the ordinance every time, we just change
If
the
someone
policy.
comes in and gets an application for a nightly rental, they're going to get a copy of this policy along with their
Yes.
application.
Mhm. The licensing and permitting does that. And then they come in, they meet with PSR and then again through joint utility. So so it's done with part of staff review.
So you're referring to 45 days after, and where is that? 'Cause I'm not,
That's going to be, the 45 days will be in the ordinance. So I'm just saying, you're going to see that ordinance come back before you. That's one of the
Okay.
changes you're going to see.
and it's gonna be 45 days for what?
For their review. So they only have 30 days to
Right now,
complete
so we're
that.
changing that to 45. Okay, all right,
45
I got
days.
that, but that's not in the policy here right now.
Right. I'm just
Okay.
telling you that's going to be in the ordinance.
Okay, and then my second question is, the waiting list on the policy says 90 days, but the ordinance for the waiting list says 60 days.
That's just for the licensing process
No, it's for the waiting
within
list,
the 90 days thereafter.
unless I'm not reading it right. So let me see where my reference is. It's H3. Where does H come in?
Yeah, you're right.
Special
Yeah,
license.
so right here
We
it
need to-
says
we need to
60 days
mirror.
on the waiting list. And here you're saying 90 days. So it's number 3 under H.
And Riker can update that. He probably just missed it in the
Yeah.
draft.
Okay, so,
Say 60 days.
so which is
Yes,
it, 60 or 90?
Be revised.
The ordinance is in draft format. So
Well, the ordinance is right here, what our citizens are going to look at. But now you're saying the policy is going to be 90 days. So I'm trying to make it easy for our
So-
citizens.
No,
The code says 60.
the ordinance is in draft form right now. So whatever.
But
you
the
decide
ordinance is
right
on
now-
the Tocqueville City code website. So whether it's a draft, it's still what our residents are looking
That's
at.
what the policy does.
Well, the policy is different
Until
than
we
the code.
We are trying
That's
to,
what-
I
we're trying
understand.
to
No, I
fill the
understand.
gap between when the ordinance
I
gets
understand,
adopted
I
and what
understand
we
we're
do right
working on
now.
getting our codes up to speed. I understand that it's a slow process. I'm absolutely good with that. All I'm bringing up is that this is in conflict. So when you guys are bringing stuff to us, policy, and the code says differently, then explain to us which is our residents are going to follow, number one. I understand we're changing the 45. That came out of the planning commission. I'm great with that. But here we got a 90 and a 60. So which is it?
That's what you're gonna decide.
Okay, so then this policy should reflect the code right now?
You can redline it, you can say.
You can adopt a policy that's
want.
contrary to your ordinance if you have a pending ordinance
Okay, well, then let me
working through the
rephrase
system.
it. How come the one says 90 and one says 60? What would the staff like to see and what would be better for our
The
residents?
pending ordinance will say,
Can I speak to that?
yeah,
So I believe when this policy was written, the 90 days was in the original draft before it was approved the previous time, and that was changed to the 60 days. And so the policy should be revised to reflect what is currently in code regarding that time frame. So it should be the 60
So the
days.
staff wants the 60 days.
That's what was recommended by Planning Commission at that time and what was approved by City Council previously.
can I suggest one other? Don't mean to be, but it's been a problem a couple different times now. We need to say in the application, they have to include a certificate of occupancy.
Yes,
I
and
know
that's in
coming
the
forth in the
ordinance
ordinance.
draft.
That's
That
not,
was my
in-
next
that's not in
question.
our current ordinance. And what I'm trying to say is we can adopt a policy by resolution that is contrary to our current ordinance if we have a pending ordinance in place that is moving through the system and our policy is mirroring the pending ordinance that's going to, so.
Okay.
So the question, Riker, is do we want to move it to 90 days or keep it at 60 days as the ordinance is?
So when the ordinance was originally proposed, it had 90 days.
Okay.
And then both Planning Commission and City
The planning
That
commission
changed
felt
to
out of
60.
fairness to other people on this waiting list that they didn't want, that 90 days was too long. Either you had to fish or cut bait and be all in. You pretty much have to be all ready to go when you're sitting there on the waiting list. And you couldn't give them a night while other people are waiting. They wanted to turn and go to the next person on the list quicker. And so they recommended 60.
Okay, so we need to make them both say 60 days.
Mhm.
And then if we want to, in a policy, we can add that you have to have a certificate of occupancy until we get our ordinance changed.
Actually, it's going to be in the ordinance.
be-
I know it will be in the
It
ordinance.
will
but
be in the ordinance,
it's
but
tonight, though,
we're
we
going to
can-
put it in the resolution right now,
In the-
which
in
is
the
our
policy
gap
for
filler
now.
until
That
that ordinance
work?
is passed.
That's fine, we can add
Yeah.
that.
Let's add that to so let's add that to the policy, and then when the ordinance sticks, then they
So
match.
it'll be in the policy and the ordinance, which.
Yeah.
Is that good, Todd?
Yeah, I
Perfect.
like it. Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve item F8, changing the policy resolution to mirror the code right now, 60 days for the waiting list. And also add that we require a certificate of occupancy
Under the application section of the policy.
under the application section of the policy. Thank you.
Perfect. I have a motion.
And also the waiting list time period be changed from 30 days to 45 days.
Yes, that's what we started out with. Yes.
Yes, and
With the
change
amended,
the,
yes.
That
And
started
change
all
the-
of this.
and change the waiting list from 30 days to 45 days?
Yes.
Okay. That's my motion.
Okay. Matt, did you have something you needed to bring before us? Okay, somebody told me you were, never mind. All right.
Sorry.
Okay, so we have a
Just to-
revised.
Just to
Riker.
clarify, it's not the waiting list to 45 days,
the
it's the fire inspection.
Application time, to give them 45 days to get their
Correct,
application.
45 days from a complete application.
You have that motion? You got that, Daisy? Okay. So I need a second. I have a second. Any further discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we're on to item F9, discuss this possible action on flag etiquette policy.
Our flag etiquette policy better not take as long as our short-term rental.
So who
I
knows?
think we should all agree.
So this
How to
one,
be
This one is, this one came about too. We had some residents that called that said that they had questions about the way the flags were being displayed, how long they were being left up, particularly along Toker Boulevard. Some people felt like that we were violating that policy because they didn't feel like they were illuminated enough. So we asked Chuck, who has a military prep academy and has a long history in the military, to look into the flag etiquette for us. And he drafted this, the flag etiquette, this outline. And so it's before you today. You can discuss it. I know, Chuck, you had some feedback on that we were in compliance. The
Yes,
goal,
fair.
and just for the background, we have in Tokerville, we have 3 groups that put up flags primarily. One of those is the city, one is the LDS Church, and the other group are the Boy Scouts. And so some of those we were putting up, some they were putting up. Tokerville City this year, we purchased enough flags that we can always put them up, and that we have enough to do. They were borrowing back and forth. The city made the purchase, so we have enough flags to do all of Toker Boulevard, all of the the road leading up to the cemetery, and every line of the cemetery within the cemetery. And then we purchased for City Hall, the cemetery, and Center Street Park. We purchased those great big flags that you see flying. We purchased enough of those to change those out every other month. And then those flags, we've been buying them in increments as the budget would support it. So we have all of those. And then that's where Chuck did some digging, and that we wanted to fly those from, if there's an event on that weekend or anything like that, that they would fly from Thursday through the next working day. But Chuck,
Yeah, and
go
it
over it from
depends
there.
on, one of the first things that people should realize is that the flag could be out all day, all night, every day of the year. The only thing difference is if you're going to fly them at night, they're supposed to be properly illuminated. People have a real question about that, and it says proper illumination is a light specifically placed to illuminate the flag, or having a light source sufficient to illuminate the flag so it is recognizable as such by a casual observer. Now, we have a night sky ordinance in this town, so our night sky ordinance pretty much lights up just about everything else. And if you're really worried about it, as far as I'm concerned, all those stars in the skies are all veterans. Anyway, but, we go like this. Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? So I don't know if there was any, flag Karens running around at Fort McKinley saying, oh, the sun went down and, our new flag isn't properly illuminated. So I think it's great that we have this problem of discussing how our flag is going to be honored and so forth. And I've seen it really nice when I can roll over sometime in the dark, in the desert sand, or in the jungle someplace, and see the guy's flag on his shoulder next to me in the dawn's early light. And I certainly wasn't going to say, how come you didn't have a flashlight on there all night long? So, if we can find better ways to illuminate the flag, because they're spread along Boulevard, individuals can put their own flags up in addition to all the other entities that you just talked about. Individuals can put them up. So we'd like this information passed out to everybody so that they can at least do what is best. But I can't imagine that we're going to run around the city of Tokerville in the dark looking for some flag that we don't think is properly illuminated so we could pull it out of the ground. I'm just glad that we have people who are concerned about our flag and proud enough to stick it out there so that everybody can see it. And if a tree blocks the street light a little bit, well, I think the most important thing is the flag out there. And if we could find a way to put, solar lights on all of our flags, then let's do it. But I think that what's correct is we have a list of the holidays in which we were going to have the flags out, and we know what we need to do with them, and we know where they're going to be placed, and we know when they're going to be put out and when they're going to be picked up. And that's the key to this whole flag issue. So that's kind of my take on it. But if we don't want to vote on it as an ordinance or something like that, that's fine, as long as people understand that there's a flag etiquette for our city that's out there. And if we want to leave this out for another couple weeks, that's fine. I would love to hear the public refute some of this or say why they think that it's, it's not right that we have our flags out the way we have. So
Chuck, can I give you a couple things? I would love to see Thanksgiving and Christmas come off of there as far as posting the colors. I think that's a really tough thing to facilitate, especially with families doing a lot of that. And we cover the park often or the cemetery. We need to go up and mark what that layout is because everybody does it different. There is flags to go the whole way down along Negley's fence, but a lot of those markers are gone. So I think if we could identify those a little bit better and maybe make a map that that falls in the boundaries of the Tocqueville Third Ward. And so we've put flags up there for years and we have our own little thing we've done. It'd be really good to identify that.
okay, well that's what I need to know. I need the feedback as to who's going to do what where.
We worked on that map with Greg Turner for Wreaths Across America, like on veterans and things like that. So we are in the process of developing a map of that, exactly what you're talking about.
And the reason why you want to have it on Thanksgiving and Christmas is because it's too hard to get people together to put them out.
I'm just like, having done this for a while now, those are families. And get those out in the mornings on Christmas morning to get them cleaned up on Christmas, at the end of Christmas, to get them out on Thanksgiving. That could be a pretty good task. We're putting out somewhere around 450 flags, and it takes some time.
Ty, as a question,
Yeah, New Year's is better.
as a question, as a matter, how do the scout troops and the church groups, do they usually set them out the night before or the morning of? So I might suggest that what we've got up here, if you can see on that, there's two yellows, and I think it should say be placed by blank AM the day of and down by, and I think we ought to reference within
We just base it off
within
like-
30 day or 30 minutes before sunrise and 30 minutes after sun, taken down 30 minutes after sunset. Because I can pick up my phone and look at my weather app and I can tell you exactly each day when is sunrise and when is sunset. And it's just, so that's, and it changes throughout the season.
What's the idea though? If you,
But one of the requests from the city is that, and what brought this up is that we would like to, if it's an event that happens like on the week, if something falls like on the weekend.
Mhm.
So Public Works, like they would put them out and then they would not pick them up again until they come back to work on Monday.
And see, I
Up
think
all
after
night,
that's
all-
something that we do need to
Tuesday.
clarify too, because the Tocqueville City pays the 3 wards and the troop to put those out, but staff had started doing that.
No. The other 2 wards, they opted out of that. So it's the city doing this
Just you, Ty.
primarily. Yeah, it's just you, Ty.
I had an option.
You don't.
oh yeah.
You don't. So yeah, no, so
Okay,
it's
that
just
makes
them.
more
And
sense.
they're
Is it
just
because we weren't paying them enough? Or what's the
And so
reason?
that's, yeah, they're
Sorry, I
just
didn't
doing it.
realize
Your
that.
word is just doing it. And
Well, I would
so,
like to see public input, as Chuck would say. So since we exceeded the time of the nightly rental policy, motion that we table this.
I would second that motion.
perfect. Thanks.
Have a motion and a second to table this item.
Can,
Real quick.
I'm just wondering why election day is on there.
Patriotic.
It's
like-
on,
Is
I
it
think
not on there? I
not.
thought it used to be on there.
Why don't,
I'll be more than happy to stick it on there.
election day is on the one that's on the background item sheet. We
Okay.
do have it. It's just not on the
Okay.
one
I was
there.
gonna say, Chuck, I'll
On
trade
there.
you Christmas for election.
All right, so I have a motion and a second to table this item.
can we also, while you're looking at that, would it be appropriate to add the proper ways to fly the flag on certain of these days? So for instance,
It's on there.
Yeah, it's
So-
it's on there.
it is? Where did I miss it?
That's there's only one way to fly a flag on a staff. So you,
On the
No, I'm
back
talking
sheet.
about specific, I'm sorry, where is it that you're referring to? No, I'm talking about specifically, so like Memorial Day, you're supposed to fly at half staff until noon, then you
Yeah,
raise
it's
it to
got
full
in there.
staff.
right there.
Where is it? I'm sorry,
It's
I'm
on-
missing it. Chuck, where is it?
It says when flown at half staff, it should first be hoisted to the peak for an instant and then lowered to the half staff
see, there's
position.
No,
a set
I-
of 5 bullet points.
So,
There's
but
one up above
It
it.
says on
Memorial
special
Day,
days,
it's
the
flown
flag
at
may
half
be
staff.
flown at half staff. Memorial Day, it is flown at half staff until noon and
Okay.
then raised.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I missed that part. Okay, we need to add Patriots Day. It's supposed to be half staff all day.
Okay. Got it.
And I'm not sure if there's any others.
Okay, well, so we're still tabling this. We're still talking, adding stuff to it. So
Keep working on it.
perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Yep.
Just more to add to
All
the
in favor
table.
to table this item?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay, we're gonna work on that, Chuck. That's good work what you've done so far. Let's carry it on. All right, we are now gonna move into a closed session, so I need a motion for that.
you wanna
Oh,
do-
before
We
let's
want to do a
calendar
5-minute
events.
break?
Yeah, let's do calendar events. We have our community readiness meeting. We've talked about that tonight on Thursday, December 14th, here in City Hall at 7 p.m. I attended the last one. It was great. I will be attending this next one. I think they're putting out a lot of really good information. So come out and support those. On December 16th, Reese Across America. It's awesome if you guys haven't been to this yet. Our city staff and our citizens here do a wonderful job putting wreaths on every veteran at our cemetery. There's a program in the morning there. It's very well attended. I would like to invite everybody out to that and bring all your neighbors. It's very, very well done. And Tocqueville does it right. We really do a good job on this. So come out to that.
We have this year, Greg Turner has a 21 gun salute and the wreaths were shipped and we have 144 this year.
144.
Plus, we have a
And-
color guard.
We have a
Yeah,
color
and the color
guard,
guard.
and we have new flag poles and all sorts of stuff at the cemetery. So come on out and support us on that. Tocqueville City office will be closed Monday, December 25th for Christmas. I can't believe you guys are taking the day off, man. But we're putting flags out, right, Ty? Is that what you're saying? All right. So that's all of the events we have coming up. Now we have another meeting, so you guys all have to leave.
I'll make a motion
Well,
to
we need
move
to-
into a closed session for strategy session, discuss pending original imminent litigation, discuss the character and professional competence of physical or mental health of an individual.
I have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're now in the closed session. We're going to take a 5-minute recess, and it is 7:21.
Good job.
Thank you.